Hello everyone, Maestro here. I am the football enthusiast. Hope you are all doing well. And this is the third to fourth time I'm officially recording this. This being my 2023-2024 Premier League predictions, because it is that time of the year again. We are very close to the kickoff of the new season. I believe Burnley vs City is the first game. And yeah, with us being so close, we usually see around this time on YouTube Premier League predictions, and I thought I'd join in the fun. And I've made 3 to 4 recordings because had some audio issues, some video issues, and also just me changing my mind because of new news coming to light, stuff like that. But I'm set now. I'm ready to yell out my predictions. I'm going to get straight into that. But before we get into that, guys and gals, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and also turn the bell on for notifications. And also you can find me on my socials, links below in the description. Sorry about that. I'm mainly on Twitter, but you can every now and then find me on Instagram if you wish to follow me there as well. Let's get into the video now. Before I actually start, there's a few things I want to mention. Firstly, number one, predictions like this, predicting a table, is silly. Of course it's silly, because there are just so many factors that it's impossible to take into consideration when making these predictions. And also there are so many things that will change that in terms of transfers, because the window's not even closed yet. Also injuries that will change the way I feel about certain placements. So I just want to make that known. And also, I am making these predictions as of the 10th of August 2023. I want to make that very clear. It is currently the 10th of August 2023 as I'm making these predictions. So if there is some news on the 12th, I said, oh, this happened, I should have changed your pick for this, please know I recorded this on the 10th of August 2023. And one more thing, you've probably noticed the way I've laid it out, I have 1st to 7th and then 18th to 20th. The reason why I don't have 8th to 17th is because I just don't feel the point in including those positions, because you don't get anything. You don't get anything, you don't lose anything, you don't get Europe, you don't get relegated, you just stay. So I thought it's best for me, just to save time as well, to focus on the spots that actually get you something, whether it's bad or good. So we have winning it, European qualification, and of course relegation. And let's get straight. Actually, no, one more thing, sorry. You've noticed here it says 2nd to 5th UCL qualification, because if you don't know, seeing if our UEFA, if the Premier League's UEFA rankings stay top for this following season, which most likely will, then the Premier League will get 5 spots for the UCL next season, and that's very likely. So that's why 1st to 5th is UCL qualification. Let's get straight into the video. Starting with relegation, bottom, last, I'm going Sheffield. Reason being, they've been very quiet in the market, and in general, I don't think they're that good of a team. They are they have a setup that enables them to get up in the Premiership quite a few times, but not so much keeping it around. They seem to go for some very few financial difficulties, and they are undermanned. And in general, they are my least favorite pick out of all the other 19 teams in the league to stay up. Just looking at their squad, looking at their setup, I have no reason to believe that they won't be last. But going down with them is the second of the 3 promoted teams, Luton Town. Actually, sorry, that's actually wrong. Wolves is who I got for 18th. I have Luton Town at 18th. I have Wolves at 19th. So Wolves at 19th, because if you don't know, there's currently some news coming out about them suffering through some financial issues. They've had to sell quite a lot of players, Jimenez, a few other star players too, full squad, Conor Cody, etc. And they won't be, it seems like they won't be hiring any replacements anytime soon. Their recruitment has been very much little, close to none. And also they've had some coaching issues, because their manager just recently has left. Lopetegui, I forgot his name, sorry. The Spanish manager, he was a good manager, and he's gone now, I think, apparently due to those financial issues. So it kind of leaves the club in a lot of uncertainty, and just very much ill prepared for the new season. So I've got them at 19th going down, with Luton Town in 18th. So me picking Luton Town for 18th, it's not an indictment on them. I just don't tip them over their competitors, which will be, for example, Fulham, or Nottingham Forest, or Crystal Palace, or Bournemouth. I think all of these teams they're more prepared and just generally have much better teams. I like so far Luton Town's additions. They've so far made some good signings, but it's not better than the competition. And in general, I think they will struggle. It will be a battle. I think it will be close, but I suspect Luton will be the one to go down alongside Wolves and Sheffield United. And those are my 3 relegated teams. Now going into 7th, which is the Conference League qualification. Now, for 7th, I was going through Spurs and Brighton. I was picking between the two as to who to choose. And with Brighton, the reasons to go against Brighton is that they've lost McAllister. They will most likely lose Caicedo. I'm pretty sure they will lose Caicedo. I'm banking on that. They lost Robert Sanchez, and there's even rumors that Mitoma might be on his way. But so those are reasons to vote against them. Reasons to vote for them is that they are so good when it comes to recruitment. And with the money that they've gone for McAllister and will get for Caicedo, you'd imagine they would spend that money well in recruitment. But I think Spurs will be my 7th because, number one, no Europe. They are not in the Europa League, they are not in the Conference League, they are not in the Champions League, they have nothing. They have nothing but English football. That's huge. Brighton will be in the Europa League, I believe, or the Conference League. Either way, they will be in Europe, Brighton. Spurs will not. They will be clean, fresh for just English football. Another thing, I like Postecoglou, their new manager. I actually like him. I've read up about him, reports. I think he could actually do very, very well. And he's got something to prove as well, so therefore he'll be more motivated than ever. Maybe more so than Mourinho and Conte, because those two had profiles to live up to. Ange is new. The pressure will be somewhat off as opposed to them. He'll have, the land to work with, and I think he'll do well with the right amount of time. So I like Postecoglou. I also I think Spurs' squad is better than Brighton in general. So, as of recording this video, Harry Kane has actually accepted, not Harry Kane, but Spurs have agreed with Bayern for Harry Kane's departure to Bayern Munich. And you could say, well, hold on, that should sway you, shouldn't it, Maestro? No, because I'm banking on them spending that money, even if he does go, on replacements. And my thoughts on Kane leaving was always for the benefit of not just Kane, but also Spurs. Because I think with Kane, they're not doing anything in terms of getting Champions League football. But without him, they can reinvest that money in multiple positions, therefore, as a whole, improving the team. You won't score as much goals, but you'll be better. You'll be harder to beat. And that, for me, is a good plus. And I think they'll use that money for Kane this window to bring in the right reinforcements to make up for Harry Kane's departure. So all of those things combined, I will take Spurs over Brighton. But I won't take Spurs over Newcastle, which is my pick for 6. Now, this right here is 2 places lower than last season. They finished 4th, Newcastle, last season. Now I predict they'll be finishing 6th. But I'm not saying they'll be worse. I think they'll be just as good. They have a very secure defensive team. They've made St. James's Park a fortress last season. I think they will do it this season. A great coach, Eddie Howe. As a whole, a very consistent side and a hard team to beat. But they are playing in Europe now. That will bring them back a bit. It will be a bit tougher. And also, in general, I just think their competition in Chelsea, in Liverpool, United, Arsenal, and City just look a lot better. I think I like their squads more. I think I like their coaches more as well. And in general, I like in cases of Chelsea, I like Chelsea's squad more, and I love Pochettino, and they have no Europe either. So I'm taking Chelsea over Newcastle and other teams too, which we'll go through in a bit. So that's why Newcastle for me is 6. I'm not saying they'll be worse. I just think the competition will rise up more so than last year, which will bring them down a bit. That combined with Europe, it's going to be a bit tougher for them this year. Now, 5th place. Remember, this now gets you Champions League football for next season, as long as the Premier League's rankings in UEFA stays the same, which it probably will. So 5th, I'm going for Chelsea. This is the biggest jump out of the entire list. I believe they were 13th last year. They're now 5th. Why? I love Poch. I think he's a fantastic choice for the coaching position. He deserves a lot of criticism for what he did at PSG. He was not good at PSG, but that club is a mess in itself. What he's done at Spurs and Southampton, he has been a fantastic Premier League manager. I always thought he was unfairly fired, but I think now, back in the Premiership with Chelsea, I like him. And I like the squad. I do. People disagree with that. I don't. I like the additions of Nicholas Jackson and Nkunku, who is injured in Nkunku, but I'm sure he'll be back soon in 2 months, and they should kick off from there. I like Nicholas Jackson. I love him. Signing down Colwill is a huge plus. And the January signings, I think I still like them. I like Mudryk. I think Poch can do wonders with him. I like Madueke too. I love Enzo Fernandez. I love him. I think he's fantastic. And I'm pretty sure Caicedo, or if not Caicedo, maybe Lavia will be coming in for Chelsea, and that will be a huge plus for them. And in general, their defense as a whole, I think, is fantastic. From Chilwell to Reece James, Thiago Silva, Fofana, who is injured, yes, but Colwill, Disasi coming into, Robert Sanchez as their new goalkeeper. He will secure things up a lot more than Kepa did. That's why I take them over Newcastle, but not over 4th, because whilst I do think they'll be better than Newcastle, I think it'll be just a bit too early for me to take them above the teams above them because of growing pains. It is still it's a new side with a new coach, so there will be some growing pains. I think they can work through enough to get into 5th, but not so much into 4th. And let's now go into 4th and 3rd. So 4th and 3rd for me was the toughest one in this entire list. I kept switching the 2 teams. The 2 teams being Liverpool and Manchester United. These are the 2 teams I have in 3rd and 4th. And I don't, even now, I'm still thinking who should be 3rd, who should be 4th. But I think I'm just gonna, I did like a roll in the dice situation. I just rolled the dice and it fell on Liverpool. So I'm putting Liverpool at 3rd, United at 4th. But please know, if this ends up the opposite way, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Now, United will be better than Chelsea because, firstly, the addition of Onana, I think, opens up a whole new dimension in terms of playing out from the back. That's so important in this day and age, especially with Ten Hag and the way he wants to play. Onana will fit in that bill much better than De Gea did. Other reasons, I think Rashford will be great again. I suspect either Antony or Sancho to take a step forward here alongside Ten Hag. I think Bruno will be fantastic. I think Casemiro will be solid. I love their defense. I think Lissandro, Varane, with Shaw, those 3 in particular are fantastic. And with Rich Wan-Bissaka or Dalot on the right, I think you have a fantastic defense there alongside Onana. It's a great back line to work with there. There's a lot of things to like about that. Things that hold me back. I'm not a fan of the Mason Mount signing. I can see why you would, a player of Mason Mount's profile does fit alongside Bruno and Casemiro, simply replacing Eriksen. But I just don't think the quality of Mount is there. There is this hope that he just had a rough 2 years at Chelsea and he needs a new beginning to bring out his potential. I don't think that's going to happen to the level that United want, which is to compete for the titles, isn't it? I don't think Mount is going to do that well enough. But I do think players like Bruno, Casemiro and the others in the team will compensate for that, therefore making them above Chelsea. Now, in terms of Rasmus Højlund, so I like Højlund. I think he's a fantastic prospect. I just think it's too early. I can see with Bruno in the team, with Rashford and all that, I can see him getting 10 to 15 goals this season. But ultimately getting enough, being effective enough on the game to which he can change things, it's too early for me for that. He's 20 years old, I believe. Might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's 20 years old. He's barely played he's played like 60-something club games in his entire career. It's too early for him. I suspect he will one day be a prominent striker. I don't suspect that will be this year. I think there'll be some growing pains there. So whilst I like Rasmus Højlund, I think it's just a bit too early. So with all of those reasons, it takes me above Chelsea, but not above Liverpool. Because with Liverpool, I think they'll be much better than last year because I think they'll be much more consistent. I think the old guard in Van Dijk, in Matip, in Robertson, in Arnold, in Alisson, in Salah, etc., I think they will be far more consistent this year. They are aware of what happened last year. They failed because of consistency last year. Their level was there to play the level to get top 4. The consistency was not. That I think will change. And I also suspect Salah will also get once again 15 to 20 goals, which would be a huge plus. And I am predicting a much better year from Núñez and Gakpo. I like both of them. Núñez causes chaos, but he makes a lot of mistakes. I get that, but I think that will be somewhat hashed out this year. And I think Gakpo's effect, I think he'll be far more critical, far more assertive, far more, aggressive. Gakpo. Ultimately, it will lead to Liverpool being much, much better. And the additions of McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai, I apologize if I butchered that name. I love those additions. I think you have two fantastic midfielders right there. I really, really do. McAllister, for me, is just... I was jealous of this signing. He's sensational, and Dominic is just a wonder, a playmaker, all around. And there are two Klopp-esque players, and that combined with, I assume they will bring in a DM. Whether that's Caicedo or Lavia, I think someone is coming in for Liverpool. And whether it's let's say it's Lavia, that for me is a huge upgrade on the midfield from last season. Huge. All right. So yeah, that's why I take Liverpool over United. That's why I take them over Chelsea, Newcastle, because I love the new look of the midfield, and I love. I think the old guard will bring it back and be far more consistent this year. Now we go to the top 2, and I mean, City and Arsenal are missing, so you guys of course know it's those two that will be there. And I won't, hash out any longer. I'm going for City as the champions and Arsenal in second place. So let's start with Arsenal. So Arsenal above Liverpool, United, Chelsea, because first and foremost, I think they'll be at least just as good as last year. And that for me is enough to take them over Liverpool. I suspect Saka will take another step forward. Martinelli too. Odegaard, I think, will be just as sensational he was last year. I love the addition of Declan Rice. I think he'll be fantastic. I think he'll fit in perfectly. Jurrien Timber coming in is a huge needed plus. Because one of Arsenal's issues last year with why they fell short winning the league was because Saliba got injured and we had no replacement. It's not the reason, but it's one of the reasons. But with Jurrien Timber, that is fixed. We no longer have to look at Rob Holding. We can look at Jurrien Timber, and he, for me, is a sensational signing. Don't be surprised if by the end of the year we are calling Jurrien Timber Arsenal's signing of the season and not Declan Rice. Because Timber, I think, will be fantastic. So will Rice, I'm pretty sure, but Timber could be sensational for Arsenal. So I love that defense. And I love the depth they have in that defense. In Tierney, Timber, Tomiyasu, and Kiwior, which I'm a fan of too. I love that. Plus, I think we'll get a boost in the goalkeeping situation too. Because David Raya is coming in. I'm not saying he'll start, but either way, if Raya starts or doesn't, Ramsdale and Raya will bring out the best in each other because they're competing for that spot. So as a whole, I think it will improve them both. And yeah, that's fantastic. So there is one concern though, I will say, that could honestly take them below Liverpool. And it's the Havertz situation. Because yes, I love Rice, I love Timber, great additions. And David Raya, I think it will also be a great addition. Havertz is a head scratcher and I'm concerned. So in the Community Shield recently, we saw, because of Jesus' injury, he played Havertz in number 9, and we saw a midfield 3 of Rice, Partey and Odegaard, and that's great. That's what we want. But once everyone is fit, if he is planning to put Havertz in the number 8 role, or just if he's doing a Havertz, Rice, Odegaard, we have an issue there. That's just one concern. We have an issue. I don't think that's what's... I think he'll do a Partey, Rice, Odegaard, not Havertz. But I'm just opening up a concern that choosing Havertz over Partey, I think, could very much hurt the squad. But I'm pretty sure that won't happen. I think he'll be used as a bench player, which will be a huge, huge plus. So that's why they're second for me. Now, the champions, City, they're just extremely stacked. I know they lost Gundogan. I know they lost Mahrez. But, I mean, we say all the time, they are very, very much stacked. They are prepared for situations like this. And I'm sure they'll buy players too in the market with the window still open. So, that combined with De Bruyne and Haaland and Pep, with Walker most likely staying and Bernardo most likely staying now with recent reports, there's not much to go on about it. They will win the league this year, I think. Unless, they somewhat implode, I think they'll be fine for a 4th Premier League title in a row. And there's not much to say after that. So, yeah, these are my predictions right here, guys. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Comment down below. What do you think? If you like the video, please like the video. If you want to see more, please subscribe and turn the bell on for notifications. It's going to be a crazy season. I'm very excited as an Arsenal fan and just in general a football enthusiast. I can't wait to see it all go out. Have a great day, and as always, take care of yourselves.